After 3 generations, time will erase every trace of you. After we're gone, what happens? There is a quiet paradox that few of us dare to face completely. You will be forgotten. Not immediately, not cruelly, but surely. A grandchild might still remember your name. Then a great-grandchild might only know you through a faded photograph. And then the 4th generation steps into the world, never knowing that you once breathed, once cried, once loved, once lost. And so time, the silent judge, does its work. It erases every personal trace. The real question is not, will this happen? Because for most of us, it already will. The real question is, if everything eventually fades away, then what is the point of living, of trying, of existing? And after we're gone, what truly remains? To answer this, we need to let go of one beautiful but dangerous illusion, the illusion of the eternal self. Humans have a deep desire to be remembered. We build tombs. We carve names into stone. We write books. We save videos. We create spiritual wills. All of this comes from a fundamental fear. The fear of being forgotten, which is often more terrifying than the fear of death itself. But here is the hard truth. Even the great figures written into history books are not really still here. They remain as a name, an event, a line in a book that most of humanity will never read. What remains of Napoleon? A hat? A quote? A failed campaign in Russia? What remains of Shakespeare? His plays are still performed, but the man himself, his fears, his joys, the mornings he woke up with a headache after drinking too much, that man is gone forever. Forgetting is not an accident of history. It is the default setting of time. So what happens after we die? On a physical level, your body returns to the earth. The room you lived in will be rented by someone else. The things you treasured, the warm sweater your mother gave you, the book you read until its cover fell off, the cup you drank coffee from every morning, will be sold, donated, or thrown away. The photos on your phone, if not backed up, will sink into oblivion once your account is deactivated. Then come the non-physical things. The memories of you in other people's minds will also fade. 1 year after you're gone, your family might still mention you at dinner. 5 years later, they mention you less. 20 years later, perhaps only the oldest ones still remember that you once loved autumn, or that you were afraid of heights. And after 3 generations, about 60 to 90 years, you become nothing more than a nameless inscription on a tombstone that no one reads anymore. Or worse, there is no tombstone at all. This is not a tragedy. This is a law of nature. Trees lose their leaves. Rivers flow into the sea. Human henji are worn away by time. But if we stop there, we fall into a very depressing conclusion. Everything is meaningless. And there is a school of thought, nihilism, that says exactly that. Because everything eventually disappears, there is no reason to do anything at all. However, there is a logical flaw in this argument. The flaw is this: meaning does not have to be eternal. A good meal lasts 30 minutes, but you still seek it out. A love song lasts 4 minutes, but it can make you cry. A hug lasts only a few seconds, but it can save an entire terrible day. The value of an experience is not measured by how long it lasts. It is measured by its intensity and its depth in the present moment. So if you will be forgotten after 3 generations, does that mean your life is useless? No. It only means your life has a limited lifespan, like a flower, like a rainy season, like a shooting star. And here is the beautiful irony. It is precisely that limit that creates beauty. A shooting star is beautiful because it vanishes. A flower is beautiful because it will wilt. If you lived forever and were remembered forever, would you still treasure each day? So after we're gone, what really happens? Not to our personal traces, but to the influences we created while we were alive. Here we need to distinguish between two things: personal legacy, your name, your image, your story, and anonymous legacy, the ripple effects that are not attached to your name. Most of us will not have a personal legacy, and that is completely normal. But every single one of us, through even the smallest actions, creates an anonymous legacy. You smile at a stranger in an elevator, that person has a better day. They go home and hug their child a little longer. That child grows up with more love, and that child becomes a kinder person to the world. You are not credited in that story. Your name appears nowhere, but you change the flow. That is a different kind of existence, existing through ripple effects, through endless chains of cause and effect, through the fact that you made this universe, for one brief moment, a little warmer, a little fairer, or a little more beautiful. Biologists call this the ripple principle. A butterfly flapping its wings can cause a storm somewhere else. A single act of kindness can change an entire life. And the miracle is this: that ripple does not need you to be remembered. It works silently, like tree roots spreading underground. No one sees them, but they hold up an entire forest. There is a beautiful story about this. A man plants an oak tree. He knows he will never sit in its shade when he is old. He knows his children might not even get to enjoy it, but he plants it anyway. 100 years later, a child sits under that oak tree, reads a book, and feels peaceful. That child does not know the name of the man who planted the tree. There is no plaque honoring him. But that child's peace, even if only a tiny part of it, was born from that nameless man's action. That is silent immortality, and it is perhaps the most honest form of immortality there is. Because it is not built on the illusion of the self, but it is built on the simple truth that human actions, no matter how small, have consequences. But there is an even deeper layer. After we're gone, something else remains. Something that does not belong to any individual, but to the collective of humanity. Culture, knowledge, and the values accumulated over thousands of generations. You don't need to be Einstein to contribute to the flow of human knowledge. Every time you teach a child to read, every time you share a lesson from your own failure, every time you live authentically and pass that authenticity on, you are participating in a project that has lasted tens of thousands of years. The project of being human. Humanity does not progress because of geniuses working alone. Humanity progresses because billions of ordinary people have lived, loved, made mistakes, corrected them, and passed those experiences on. Through genes, through language, through habits, through stories told around the fire. You are one link in an endless chain. And even though after 3 generations, your name will be removed from that chain, the connection you created, the strength of the chain at the point where you stood, remains. It is passed on. It transforms. It merges into the larger flow. And someday, someone in the 10th generation will do something good, or think something right, or love something bravely, without ever knowing that a very long time ago, someone like you planted a very small seed that made that possible. So the answer to the question, what happens after we're gone, is not nothing. What happens is this. Anonymous influences continue to spread, Values accumulate. The universe continues to operate on the foundation of everything that ever existed, including you. The difference between a world with you and a world without you is a real difference, whether it can be measured or not. You change the probability distribution of every event after you. You left a microscopic scratch on the surface of time. And that scratch, no matter how faint, never completely disappears, because it has become part of the chain of cause and effect. It is like throwing a stone into the ocean. After a while, the water becomes flat again. But the waves keep traveling, and somewhere far away, the shoreline erodes just a little more because of your stone. No one knows, but it happened. This brings us to an awareness that might change how you live right now. If you accept that your personal traces will be erased after 3 generations, you have 2 choices. 1. Sink into despair and do whatever you want because nothing matters in the end. 2. Free yourself from the pressure of having to be great, having to be remembered, having to leave a mark, and instead focus on the only thing that truly belongs to you, the present moment. When you stop chasing the illusion of self-immortality, you realize that the quality of each second you are alive matters more than any legacy after you die. A genuine smile right now is worth more than a bronze statue 100 years from now. A deep conversation tonight means more than a name in a textbook. Because that conversation, that smile, that moment, you are truly there. And for you, in that moment, it is everything. Existential thinkers call this living authentically. Living without running away from death, without hiding in illusions of eternity, but facing your limits and choosing to live meaningfully within those very limits. A person who knows they will die does not live the same way as someone who believes they are immortal. The first treasures every minute. The second wastes time on vanity. And likewise, a person who knows they will be forgotten after 3 generations does not live the same way as someone who believes their name will last forever. The first invest their energy in what truly matters to them right now. Relationships, personal growth, small but genuine contributions. The second spends their whole life building a tomb that no one will ever look at. There is an interesting thought experiment. All of those are present moment actions, not future legacies. And here is the remarkable thing. Those actions still have value, even if you are completely forgotten. You don't need anyone to remember that you loved your child. It is enough that your child grew up in that love. You don't need a plaque honoring you for helping a stranger. It is enough that person got through a hard day because of you. So the final answer, and perhaps the most honest answer to the question, what happens after we're gone, is not a list of things that remain. It is a statement about the nature of existence itself. We leave, but we were once here. And having been here, with all the pain, the joy, the connections, and the losses, is meaningful in itself. It needs no certification from the future. Just as a symphony does not need to be recorded to have value in the moment it plays. Just as a sunrise does not need anyone to photograph it to be beautiful. Your existence does not need to be remembered to be important. It is important because it happened. It is important because you experienced it. And it is important because in a vast universe that is mostly unconscious, you are a small point of awareness, even if only for a brief moment. That, in itself, is a miracle. After 3 generations, time will erase every trace of you ever existing. Yes, but before time does that, you existed. And in that time you existed, you loved, you hurt, you laughed, you cried, you did things right, you did things wrong, you learned, you forgot, you connected, you parted. All of those things truly happened. No one can take away from you the fact that you lived. And when you accept that no personal immortality is waiting for you, you become free to live most fully. Not for some future judge, but for yourself, for the people beside you, for this moment. That is perhaps the most beautiful thing a finite being can do. To live as if this life is all you have. Because after all, it is.